So my name is Paul Keeley. I work for a company called Open Systems. I'm a 13 times Microsoft MVP. I just work in security. My job is to help people understand, the security landscape and what you can do with it. I absolutely hate slides. We all talk about death by PowerPoint, and then everyone just showed slides all the time. There's none of that. I'm just going to show you as an attack. I'm going to show you automation. You're just going to see it all happen in real time. All right. So, oh my God, imagine. What you're going to see, you have to give me a little bit of, for everybody here who remembers Blue Peter, you have to give me a little bit of, I'm doing all this in real time, like it's all going to happen. I'm depending on APIs, calling stuff, logs updating. It takes a few minutes. Almost everything works within about 2 minutes, right? So I might do the odd refresh. The two incidents that I'm calling are, here's one I made earlier, because they take about 5 minutes to kick in. But as I do the attacks, you'll see them, run through. And so essentially, I work for Open Systems, and we're a managed detection and response company. And if you imagine life for us, which is we protect about 3 million people, and those 3 million people are doing stuff all over the world, and something goes wrong and an incident comes into your Sentinel and then comes into our Sentinel, and we have to try and understand it. At a Microsoft event, at the last Microsoft event, Mark Russinovich had a queue on the page. And the queue was that Microsoft are now ingesting a quintillion security events every 24 hours. So it used to be 1 trillion, it's a quintillion. I don't even know how many zeros that is, but the main message I'm trying to give you is it's so much signal, and we're all drowning in signal. We all see stuff all the time. What do I do? And most companies and most organizations are okay at the managed detection, but the they're crap. They just don't know how to pull the trigger to stop things, because when they do, all of you go mental that you stop somebody doing business. Yeah, but they were under attack. Yeah, but you can't stop that person, And so this is going to look at a whole flow and what you can do around it. I start off, this is all with the user called demo user 1, Control C. This is just a file that Microsoft give you. It launches a multi-stage attack, and Defender knows about it, which is why I can run it without Defender going absolutely crazy. So I go in here, I hit Command V, and the attack will run. And essentially it says, tells you, hey, look, you're about to run an attack. Is this okay? And what's going to happen is I'm enabling content in a Word doc that's enabling macros that are going to go all around the world and do, bad things in the environment, okay? The key things to understand is, look at the top, there's demo user 1. I'm on a company device, and I'm about to be on Office 365, okay? So I'm, on a company device. This is like, a user in your environment. They're working away, okay? I just logged in. Did I MFA? No. I was at an airlift with Microsoft UK about 3 weeks ago, and the numbers of people across the world using MFA at the moment, guess how many? 17%. Okay, so the vast majority of people are not using any MFA of any description. So I've logged in, and my user has done stuff, and we have a problem. Okay, and now the problem is that the attacker who got you to run that piece of code, who's doing stuff, who's doing stuff on this device, they're going to log into a computer as well, and they're going to go and attack your environment. So they've got your, username and password. They're going in, and they're going to log in as that user. Okay. Okay. And then what I will just point out for this is that this user, okay, is that this user is going to open up a Chrome browser. They're going to log in as the attacked user, and I'm running a VPN to sit me in Taiwan. Okay, so I can't create malicious IP addresses that I can access. These are just Azure VMs. I'm geographically spreading myself out. So I just go in and I say PORT portal.office.com. Okay, and from portal.office.com, the attacker has logged in and they're super happy. They're in your environment. Life is great. And now the problem for all of us as security people begins, because somebody is in your environment. Do you even know? What are you doing to stop them? Do you have to stop your valid internal user? This is just a pain in the ass. And this is the life that we're living in every day. And when I look at how most people respond to this, they're just doing loads of manual nonsense, right? The SOC comes in and they do loads of manual stuff and they're trying to contact you, and it's super inefficient. I'm so sorry, because somebody in our org has just logged on to my machines while I'm on them. Okay, so we got to do something straight away, all right? And what we have to do is, the first thing that we can see is that there's a multi-stage incident. And what is a multi-stage incident? The multi-stage incident involves, demo user 1 on a known computer with that file, WinATP intro invoice that I clicked, all right? And when I go to the full details of that file, as any of you, as people trying to deal with the breach, right? Like, look at the entities involved. What am I supposed to do? There's files, there's devices, there's computers. It's overwhelming. So I need to be able to use automation to go and start to help me build a story to, can I do something on this user? When I say we need to build a story, I'm using Logic Apps in Azure. If you don't use Sentinel, big deal. If you don't have Office 365, then we're on a whole different playing field. But almost everybody has Office 365, which means you have Azure, which means you can use this automation. You don't need to be using Sentinel. You can use whatever you like to use it. All right? So the very first thing that I want to do is, and then I have another one. I have another problem here, which is a user has logged in from multiple locations. Okay? So demo user 1 has logged in from all of these locations, right? So if I just go on to the details of this, again, you can see a bunch of entities. You can see demo user 1, these IP addresses, and I'm starting to get a bit freaked out. And I'm just coming into this ticket, and you can see as I come into this ticket, the comments are empty, right? No one is dealing with this. No one is looking at this incident right now. And what I am going to do is I'm going to launch an incident workbook, and the incident workbook is going to allow me to do things to this user and understand what's happening to this user, and basically give me some intelligence to say, hey, is it okay to start, restricting them? The word that I'm going to use is I'm going to say, is it okay for me to tar sand this user, right? So the first thing I can do is, if I scroll this up, here's a bunch of IP addresses, okay? And you can see this one is in Asia. That's the Taiwan one you saw in my browser. And then I've got one in North America. I've got one in the United Kingdom, which is here. Ooh, let's take this as our valid one. And then we've got another one in the United Kingdom. All right. So this user's logging in all over the place, right? One of the first things I'd love to be able to do is, hey, could I go and evaluate that IP from VirusTotal? Okay. And so that IP is going to go to VirusTotal. and it's going to come back and update the ticket for me, right? You know, why would I be going to VirusTotal, copying and pasting and then copying into a ticket? I mean, it makes no sense. So this incident is immediately going to get updated. And then when I go to demo user 1, you know, demo user 1 apparently is in Taiwan, right? Well, are they in Taiwan or are they in the UK? And you know, what could I do to demo user 1? If you think about it, they've logged on to 2 machines, at least. They're in multiple geographies, and their login was crap. Why was their login crap? Well, there's no MFA. One device is known, one isn't known. You know, like right now, I'm like, ugh, this doesn't look good. What would be lovely to know? Well, demo user 1, do they have their out of office on? What is their out of office? Okay, there's the out of office reply for them. I'm going to show you this in the incident. You don't have to read it, but if you look up there, it says, I am at a security conference in London, looking at the amazing London Eye. I'm not in Asia, right? So like, you know, badoom, wouldn't it be awesome just to have their out of office? It's going to be updated to the ticket. Don't worry, we're going to see it in nicer language. Our devs absolutely love APIs and code, and you know, they're robots, so reading stuff isn't their forte. So right now, I'm a bit freaked out, right? This user isn't in Asia. I've seen multiple logins. The last thing that I'd love to say is, hey, would you go and run a risk score confidence for me? What's a risk score confidence? Is, hey, could you use a bunch of analytics and could you look at everything you know in our SIEM about this person, about their devices, about their login, and could you report back to me and let me know what's going on? So if I go back to the incident, right, let's just have a look at this for a sec. And if I go back into the user logged in from multiple locations, and I just have a look at the details, okay. I just need that to refresh. This is the 2-minute wait bit. So what I'm expecting to see is I'm expecting the comments of this to update. And as the comments update, I want them to come back and tell me, hey, look, here is the user's out of office. Here is the risk score. You know, here are the details that I found about the user, okay? So in the comments, when I scroll down, look, here's their out of office. I'm at a security conference in London, looking at the London Eye. Please don't attack me, I'm a nice guy, okay? We all know how well that looks. Here is the VirusTotal feedback. Unfortunately, I'm not on a bad IP, but you could imagine that when we do this in work, we go, oh my God, they're on a bad IP. And then lastly, if you look up the top, we've gone in and we've said, there's no MFA or poor MFA, right? New location detected for user. Our company does not do business here. You know, IP address never seen. You know, non-compliant or unknown device, right? We don't know what this device is. The confidence score is 1 out of 10. This is a high-risk login, right? I mean, you know, this does not equal a great day for most of us in our organization, okay? So we got to start doing something straight away. What are we going to start doing? Let's just go back into the incident overview. And we have a group called risky users. Again, I'm doing all this in real time. Here's refresh. If you get put into risky users, you go into tar sand. Meaning we still let you do business, but it's not that easy for you to do, we can still communicate with you, you can still work, but you're going to see you start to get a few challenges, okay? So the very first thing that we're going to do is we're going to scroll down to demo user. And on demo user, I'm going to add you to risky groups, okay? So once you get added to risky groups, it's 145. I'm hoping by 147, you're going to start having problems. So the very first thing that happens now is IT security, I remember years ago I bought this product. There's somebody who now I work for, who used to work for them. And I bought this Symantec security, like Windows 95 Symantec security. And you loaded this CD and you click next. And then your machine didn't work because it cut off the network and it cut off the USB keys. And, you know, it was awesome. It was super secure. You could just do nothing with it. And loads of us have come from this security thing where we were like the department of no, like, no, you can't do that. No, I'm afraid you can't do that. No, you can't do that. Oh, no, we're a pain in the arse. You can't do that. And everyone hates IT security. And so what we kind of have to do is we have to go to a newer model whereby we're a bit more fun, you know, whereby we're not such a pain in the arse. There's demo user 1 in there. So demo user 1 is now going to get restrictions put on them. Life was great beforehand. Demo user 1 was kind of like 17 and you trusted them and you come home and the house is wrecked and they're locked and you're like, dude, wait and see what happens next. You know, you just annoyed mom and dad. We're not taking this. And so now what starts to happen is if we go back to, so here's the attacker. Remember, like I said, if by 147, I was able to do stuff to affect this, it would be great. So the attacker says, hey lads, we're after getting these lads, they're morons. Wait, you see how easy it was to attack them. Okay, we're gonna need another minute. Okay, so the very first thing that happens is we're gonna tar sand you. What does tar sanding you mean is like, we can't really let you start taking data out of our environment, right? So when you go and you say Control C to copy stuff, why isn't that working? Okay, that I might just need a couple of minutes for that to kick in. I'm going to stop the copy and paste. And then the next thing that's going to happen is, it just takes a sec to kick in. Next thing that's going to happen is that when I go and I open new components, okay, it's just going to take another minute. So I'm going to just have to let this percolate for a sec. Here's what I want to show you next of all is, it's going to come back to this, it's going to kick in. So I'm dealing with the user, right? And you're going to see in a few minutes, the user has been dealt with. When I go on to this device, which is, you know, my own, you know, my corporate device, this is what we can control. So first of all, I'm sitting on Chrome, and Chrome is an unsigned app by Microsoft, right? And what I want to do is I want to go to the corporate device and I want to lock it down and I want to say, hey, look, will you only allow signed apps to run on this device? So I'm going to go to my incident. I'm going to go incident here. Home. Send, no. Okay, incidents. Okay, and then what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to go to this multi-staged attack incident playbook, and I'm going to basically go in and deal with this device, the you know, the Windows 10 device or Windows 11 device that's in there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and run an app restriction. How we'll know the app restriction has worked is because when we go to this demo device, what you're going to see is that my API is going to press the button to say restrict app execution. So when I click on that, see the way it says restrict app execution? That's going to basically get pressed. So I'm just going to scroll down. I'm going to go to demo 1 and I'm going to apply an app restriction. Okay. So that is going to seriously impede anything happening from that machine. That was the app restriction being applied. It happened in, you know, a few seconds. And so if I just go back to the device management, remember I said we would see app restriction. See, it says restrict app. Let me just give that a little refresh. And what you're going to see now is that the app restriction has been applied to the machine. Okay. And okay, so you can see now it says remove app restriction. Okay, so the API went in and clicked it. And then what that means for the person who has breached that machine, right, with that Word doc is, oh, wrong one, is that when I go back into the machine and I try and run Chrome now, Chrome is blocked. All right, anything that's not signed by Microsoft on that device is blocked. So the breach, the backdoors, everything that they're putting in to try and do damage to this machine, to launch their attacks, that all stops. And like this has been going on for 10 minutes and this machine is now stopped. Can I disable the machine? Can I wipe it off the network? I can do all of that in very short order, but I can't communicate with the user. It's hard for me now. Like this machine is super locked down. I can still use Teams and I can still use Outlook, but I can't use unsigned code by Microsoft. It's a complete coincidence that Chrome is unsigned by Microsoft. Subtle joke. So what should be happening now is on 02, when I go into Chrome now and I launch demo user 1, and cancel, and I just go to PORT portal.office.com and I hit go. And so, this is what you saw at the start. I tried to go in, okay. Oh yeah, sign in. Okay. And now, unfortunately, it's trying to MFA me. Okay. Which, as the hacker, I can't do. I don't have the MFA code. Right. So before all this, you were able to get in, you were able to do stuff, you're able to have a nice life. Now, now you need to MFA in. So we're applying security settings to you as life gets more and more serious. If I could just show you, if I get my phone, if I do go in and, if somehow you're able to go and accept that MFA, do you know what I'll actually do is I'll go back and I'll show you what should be happening now to demo user 1 in their own environment, is that if I go into demo user 1 here, there's good old security settings. If I go into demo user 1 here and I go in and now I go into portal.office.com from the Microsoft PORT portal.office.com and I hit go. And so what will be happening now is that this user, my watch is telling me to approve the sign in, is that this user who is the valid user can sign in. Go on quickly, approve sign in. Okay, approve. So I should be able to get in. Okay, and then when I open Outlook now, and again, it can just take a second or two to kick in. I know that wasn't a second, but it can take a couple of minutes to kick in. When I open Outlook now, I should find myself having more issues getting data out of the environment. So, okay, I'm still waiting for that policy to apply. So there's another policy that's going into the app that's going to stop me copy, paste, download, upload. Basically, getting data out of the environment is going to get harder and harder. Okay. So what you're seeing is me having issues with things like the IP address, with things like the device, the entity, and being able to sit in one location, a workbook, run automation to go and find your out of office, your, risk scores, imagine the scenario whereby a couple of super smart people build analytics and models for you that you are then able to continuously reuse through automation. That analytic to go and identify, if your device was compliant, if it was known, if you were known, do we have an office in your location? I mean, there was tons of work that went into that. Why do you have to have super amazing security people that they're the only ones who can do it? The whole point of the automation is you hit go and you are, democratizing that skill into your environment, and everything that you're doing in the, in terms of the component, that's all being logged in the incident update, multi-stage attack, view details. The comments are being written into your multi-stage attack to tell people, hey, this is what's happening. So you're able to go in and see and understand what's going on as the attack comes on. So we've 4 minutes. Does anybody want to ask me a question or any comment on it?
I've got a 365 premium license.
Yeah.
How do I get access to Sentinel? And is it going to cost me additional?
Okay, so Office 365 and Sentinel are different components. A lot of the Office 365 logs that come into Sentinel don't cost anything. And so, 4 clicks and you have Sentinel, 20 clicks and you've connected your Office 365 environment. It's super fast. It really is super fast. In terms of being able to respond to things like this, to me, this is the thing that's missing from most environments, is the ability to analyze what's going on and to respond to what's going on from inside tickets. The total amount of time that this was happening was 20 minutes. I can tell you, most people's SLA to look at the alert is more than 20 minutes. For the alert to get to your MDR provider, if you get there in 20 minutes, life is doing good. So, any other questions? Actually, it's mostly the automation so everything that I was showing you there was how I'm using these logic apps to add users to groups, to block machines, to block IP addresses. It's the automation components that are native to Azure that are plugged into, the APIs of Office 365. You don't actually need to be using Sentinel to use these. You can call and feed those components from any SIEM you want. It's just if someone's described to me what is logic apps, they're Microsoft automation that works. It's taken them a long time to get automation to bloody work. Yeah. 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 So everything that I've done there, you don't have to manually do any of it. When the incident comes in, the whole thing can run. It's a pretty crap demo. I hit next, I sit here, and then everything stops, and I say, I pull the rabbit out of the hatch. So you don't have to, I've manually done everything, but the whole purpose, of the Sentinel platform is they can all be automated responses. The only problem is if I automate everything, it looks crap for you guys. It's much nicer for you to see how the steps evolve. So that's my time. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for your time.